Hey everyone, this video we are going to talk about Suomi, who in my opinion is one of the, if not the most versatile characters in Girls Frontline 2 Global till now. With her rerun banner here, some of you might be wondering whether she is worth pulling, if you don't have her or missed her before, or if you should get her copy or her signature weapon, etc. Especially with the upcoming Klukai banner speculated to be coming soon. If you wanna know more about that, I'll link my video on that up in the corner or in the description. Well, in this video we'll quickly look at Suomi's skills, synergies, builds and playstyle to try to find a solid answer. Let's get into it. If you are looking for the short TLDR version, here you go. Suomi is the premium ice support character and the best support character in the game right now. She is definitely worth pulling if you want a reliable top tier character who's gonna be with you all the way through. She is still meta in CM. She is primarily a shielder, not a healer, and a good shielder often becomes the better choice than a mediocre healer, especially with endgame stages that debuff heals or for the ability to simply extend your allies' health more than their max health so that they don't get one shot. She is a great choice for auto battle teams and highly recommended for mid to late game content. Her V0 is sufficient for F2P players and the SR version of her weapon will do the work just fine. But do you need to go for V1 or her signature weapon? Both have exceptional value propositions and it's a toss-up between them. I would slightly prefer V1 and then going for signature weapon. And then what about V2? Let's not talk everything right here in the TLDR. We'll talk more in the Vertebrae discussion. But the big thing is with Klukai coming soon, possibly, it's important to consider your resources and priorities. We'll discuss that more in a bit as well. Let's go over her skills. Suomi's skill set makes her an all-round powerhouse. Her abilities combine damage dealing, defense, healing, shielding and crowd control into one. Let's go over each one. Suomi's skill 1 is fantastic for breaking enemy stability. It can do more than 10 points of stability damage if the allies are grouped together close by and someone can support attack. The crit loss means it's not meant to be used as a primary damage dealer. It should be used to break the stability of enemies behind cover and expose them, and leave your DPS to deal damage to the enemies within sight. Her skill 2 is a single target shield to one of the allies. It also recovers their stability index and gives them more defense. Her ultimate is her core skill. It gives all allies shields and reduces damage taken. It deals fixed AoE damage, debuffs enemies and creates ice tiles on the field. That particularly helps your other ice teammates like Macchiato and Lotta. Her shielding also helps in the case when your main DPS might be mobility debuffed in a fight and you can't move them to a cover spot. Her passive recovers 2 convection index and heals allies in a range. It also enables her support attacks and debuffs enemies more to take more damage from your allies. Let's discuss about Suomi's Vertebrae levels now. While I said V0 is sufficient for F2Ps, there's a lot of discussion around the value of her V1. I'll try to convey the main values that V1 brings to the table and also touch on V2. You do not need any more, but if you're whaling, you can go for her V5 and V6. Sure, they are high-end breakpoints. So I mentioned earlier that Suomi is primarily a shielder, but she can do some healing from her passive. Her P1 basically overcomes that little bit of shortcoming. She can now act as a full-fledged shielder and healer. You get more heals, thicker shield, and more stability recovery all around. Do you need it? To answer, you need to think how you play the game. It doesn't increase your damage potential. For some, that alone is enough to not go for V1. But the value that V1 provides is it trivializes a lot of hard content for your team. Your allies are undying now and you can push higher stages like 15-20 higher enemy levels than your team. And it's very auto battle friendly for lazy people like me. That's what makes this a good Vertebrae to go for. Now, do you need that? You might not if you play manually very well, or if you have already cleared endgame contents, or you are saving for someone upcoming. It's up to you. Now, if you are building Suomi for your ice team and have an invested Macchiato, you might want to look into V2 since it directly buffs your ice damage and might be more valuable to your team. Just wanted to mention that. About her signature weapon, it's so good. It does everything. It buffs your shield and your team's ice damage. This is a nice combo. That's why if you do want a little boost to your DPS for your ice team, you might want to go for the signature weapon rather than her P1. But universally, since let's be honest, Suomi can flexibly slot in any team right now that's not ice team, the value of the weapon drops a little and P1 becomes slightly better choice. But before you go to P2, you might wanna consider picking up a copy of the signature weapon, definitely. Some good alternatives to this is the Battle Pass SSR weapon, Classified Manuscript, Swarog, that you can get from the Platoon shop, and it's F2P friendly, and the best SR option would be Suomi. Of course, who could have predicted that, but even this one you need to get from gacha. Her best in slot attachment set is Ultimate Pursuit. It literally is made for her, and the substats priority is as follows: attack percent followed by attack, then HP percent and defense percent. You wanna target attack to be 2200 plus, HP 3500 plus and defense 900 plus for an endgame full build. Her best in slot fixed keys are Little Guardian. It allows you to start with the ult and use it again by round 3, Unyielding Momentum and Logistics Support. These two keys keep Suomi's own stability up and helps her become a frontline tank. As for the common keys, her Affinity key is better suited with attack, HP and defense buff than her Neural Helix common key, only because it activates when your HP is below 80%, which won't have that much uptime with Suomi's shielding and healing. You can also use Macchiato's common key and Sabrina's common key. Suomi has no standard skill rotation as a healing supporter. You may need to use her as per how your battle is going, but a standard cycle could look like this with the build we discussed. We definitely need the Little Guardian fixed key to start with an ultimate followed by skill 1, then another ultimate, then you can use both your skill 1 and skill 2 in the next couple rounds as you see fit interchangeably, then ultimate again and rotate this cycle. Suomi is a really versatile unit and you can probably slot her in any of your teams as the support character and she will carry that team absolutely fine. But her best in slot has to be the Priest team with Macchiato, Lotta and Naya. This team utilizes all the ice damage buffs that she can provide, so of course it's her main team. But honestly, you can use her in your burn team as well, since we don't have Centaurace or Vector right now. Or you can use her with Tololo and Sabrina for the Hydro team comp. She will get replaced by Springfield later on this team when she comes. So, should you pull for Suomi? If you need a versatile, reliable meta unit and if you don't have a good enough support unit so you are unable to push through the content, then yes, Suomi is absolutely worth the pull. However, with the Klukai banner on the horizon, you might want to balance your resources if you are aiming for a specific meta comp. So keeping that in mind, you can follow the below recommendation. She is perfectly good at V0 for F2Ps. She is much better off at V1 for those who want an easy mode for all the content in this game. I would recommend to get her signature weapon next. It's very worthwhile, followed by V2 C1, then V5 C1 and V6 C1. That wraps up our Suomi review. I hope this helped you decide whether to pull for her in the current banner. Let me know in the comments if you are planning on summoning or if you are saving for Klukai or for someone else. I don't like to ask for anything, but if you are still here, I will appreciate a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.